Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a topic to talk about today because it does actually pertain to the content that I actually make on my YouTube channel, and it is going to be an EA employee or employees that are selling icon moment cards to people for a certain price amount. I've seen some ridiculous prices. Like I think I saw a Hullet on the timeline from the mentions that I get that he bought him for like £1,700 or something crazy like that, right? So I wanted to talk about this today because obviously I think for the most part you guys actually handled it really well when it came to me. Some people obviously kind of like jump to conclusions, but they're not wrong to jump to conclusions because our community is very shady for the most part, right? So that's why it's important for me to have this discussion with you guys. I don't have these discussions, and you guys know how I am. I don't have these discussions to weasel my way out. I tell you exactly where my head is at and how I'm doing stuff so that you guys kind of get the gist of my stuff. And I think it's very important to do this because people can be really sus sometimes, right? So listen, in regards to this, I want you guys to understand that I took an executive decision a year or two ago. You guys can even search this up on social media. This is not something that I did today, okay? This is something I did like a year or two ago, where I unfollowed everything that pertained to FIFA content creation from others and just FIFA stuff in general, right? I just didn't want to see it because I wasn't in a good place mentally when I played FIFA at the time and I was making content at the time because, I wasn't even doing the player reviews at that time, right? So I just made a decision for myself that mentally it's more healthy for me to not know what is going on in the FIFA community, right? So that I can focus more on me individually creating the content and then posting it to the YouTube channel, right? That's a decision that I made, right? So if you go to Instagram or Twitter, you'll basically see me follow nobody that's like crazy important. Like for Twitter, I'll even show you guys, I follow 10 people. This guy does crazy skill move combos, so I followed him. Footwatch is there because they upload the graphics for the new cards, so I get that for the thumbnails, and they also put up the players that come out on that in that very time frame. Like 1 o'clock, boom, they show you the silver card, they show you the SBC, all that stuff, so I can check my phone and see if I have to come to my setup and make the video, right? And then EA FIFA Direct is there. Because if their servers are offline or whatever it is, then I know that they're offline before I even try to play the game sometimes, right? And then the rest of it is just generic stuff, Quaresma, Ronaldo, my boy Welky that used to do my thumbnails back then, stuff like that, right? So I just want you guys to have an understanding that like I choose to not understand what's happening in the community for my own mental sake, right? However, as I work on my content, right, I do work on researching what's relevant in the gaming community for FIFA, right? So I'll search on YouTube, FIFA 21 Ultimate Team, and then I'll see the stuff that people like the most. I'll go on TikTok because I do have a TikTok account where I'll be like, okay, FIFA 21 Ultimate Team and see what's trending on TikTok. Because, TikTok even gave me the idea of doing the shot cancel thing in the first place. That wasn't me. I didn't come up with it, right? Something that I saw from others doing it because it was like such an effective thing to do, right? So stuff like that is important to understand and create content on YouTube, but to obviously try to, tell people like, hey, I didn't come up with this, right? The free kick tactic, your boy was smart with that one, right? But that was it, okay? Everything else, like, you learn from other people pretty much, right? Okay, so with that being said, this whole situation right now with EA employees selling icons to people, I'm obviously not happy with. And the fact that people think that I myself did it, it's okay if you guys think this way because, like I said, our community can be really shady. I could be shady. You have no idea. I could be talking this way, right? But I could be shady to you guys. Okay, so there's this one tweet that someone sent me because I mentioned today how, okay, so if there's no content drop today for SBCs or whatever, we'll talk about the EA thing about selling icons to people. Cool beans, right? And then there's this one tweet right here from this guy, right, that says, was the account you used on the Ronaldinho review one of those accounts who bought the players? Because I saw untradeable moments, Dino, R9, and Hullet, right? And then Jonathan, and I'm not calling him out because I like that you guys do this. It's actually important that you do because if someone is BSing, then they're BSing, right? But just take a look at this DM and then look at the team that I'm using. And if you put those two things side to side, it just looks so legit, okay? First and foremost, this is not me. First of all, I don't even use the word proper. I don't know when the last time I don't know when the last time was that I used the word proper. I have no idea, right? So it says right there, right? So it says, bruh, it's in. Obviously, you can't see the names of the people. And then he has moments Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Hullet, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and it says, holy shit, what I told you, haha. I'm going to post a proper review for you later tonight. Okay? I'm going to post a proper review for later tonight. So this is where people thought this was me, okay? I'm not writing this. This is not me, okay? Because obviously in the next frame, you see me using the guy's team, okay? You see me using the dude's team. These teams are not mine. The only account that is mine, guys, is the full Portuguese team that has Neymar in it. So Neymar is the only one. You know he's Portuguese speaking, so he can talk to the rest of the team. But that is the only team that is mine. And I barely play on my main account because you guys know how I feel about the situation in FIFA in regards to gameplay and menu content, which is what we're going to lead into, okay? So, with this discussion that we are having right now, I told the dude today, right, the one that got the Moments Ronaldinho, hey man, do you want me to delete the video? Because I'm actually going to talk about how much I don't like this today. This is the actual DM, and I'm going to tell you guys, okay? And it's not like private stuff, it's just like regular stuff, right? So this is what he said to me. He says, so I literally said, because I was going to discuss about it today, to be honest, right? And then he said, I think it's up to you because I'm not sure if people will ask why you were using those accounts. Obviously, you didn't know. If they will, then maybe delete, but it's your call. And then I literally told them, I'll discuss it with the audience, give my point of view. Then they give theirs. We're chilling, right? And then he says, all good. You know where I stand. The game shouldn't have come to this, right? I understand this point of view, right? But I understand everybody else's point of view too. It's like both, right? So the first thing that I want to mention to you guys specifically is that if it really bothers you, because I was unaware of this before, okay? But if it really bothers you that these guys had these players by doing this on their accounts, and then I used their accounts to do the review for YouTube, and you guys want me to delete it, I have no problem doing that. You guys know how I am, okay? I'll give you my content creator train of thought, and then you guys can let me know what you think, okay? So, when it came to me reviewing the icon moment cards in general, my train of thought is this. Okay, this card is the best version of its card. This video will continue to grow as the year progresses because it is the best version of its card, right? So for YouTube content creation, it makes sense for me to post that to the audience and for me to basically have fun with the card, because obviously a player review doesn't really make much sense because with these cards, they're obviously god tier players and it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to do a player review, but it's more a review of me having fun with the card, right? Like when I was using Moments Ronaldinho, Moments Ronaldo, Moments Cruyff, Vieira, Hullet, all these guys, I'm doing it in a way where it's like, okay, I'm going to post this content for fun and people are going to enjoy the gameplay or whatever it is from it, but then I'm obviously never going to use this account again unless I have to do another player review, right? But obviously with this whole thing happening recently, a little bit more debatable for me to review the accounts, right? So if you guys have a problem with me doing that, this is something that I can definitely discuss with you guys. I will delete them if it bothers you that much, but my train of thought is, hey, and this is me not knowing what's happening, okay? I'm just going to post this video because this is the best version of the card. I'm going to have this on YouTube. This will grow throughout the year. People will always be interested in seeing the best version of its card. Cool. As a content creator, that's why I do that, right? But I'm open to discussion when it comes to these types of things. But I literally told them how, like I said, I don't really mess with this being a thing, right? So I want to give you guys my train of thought in regards to this whole situation, and it's nothing that you guys haven't heard in the past, okay? I'm obviously not a fan of a lot of stuff that happens in this game, but when you're a content creator, sometimes you just abide to the meta of content creation, right? So for instance, when it comes to player reviews that I get, if someone is willingly doing the SBC themselves, not because of an influence on me, right? But if they're willingly doing the SBCs themselves, then they're going to be like, hey, Inception, do you want to do a review on this card? And I'll tell them, like, you got to make sure, right, that this is something that you want, because I will not take a card from you if you do not want it, right? So I have a guy that usually gets all the SBCs because he's a freak, right? And he's a freak in a good way because he obviously helps out the content a lot, right? And I'm able to provide that content for you guys, right? I usually use his account for most of the cards, Armstrong, all these guys, because guys, listen, what I even did in the past is that, like, if I did lose coins from somebody and it was on their account, I would just pay them the compensation fee that they would have lost through tax, right? So with my guy recently, he was buying cards for promos, right? and he was doing it for my sake. And I'm like, no, 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 no. This doesn't work for me. I don't want you to buy cards for my sake. If you ever bought cards for my sake, it is because I am paying you the compensation that you're losing in coins, right? But like I said, if you are willingly doing the SBC because you want it, or you're willingly buying a card because you want it, the whole point that I always tell these guys that I usually use their accounts from, I always tell them, guys, if you get the card because you want it, then I'm happy to do the review. But I'm not going to tell you to buy and sell players for me unless I'm compensating for you. That's not how I work. I don't like that, okay? Because it's incredibly selfish to do. So I just made that a point. He understood. He stopped doing it. So the SBC stuff, we still do the SBC stuff because that's what he would have done anyways. This guy has an insane team, guys. He has like Sabitzer and all these guys as well, right? So I use his account for that. And that's what I do for content creation because, guys, listen, man. In an idealistic world, okay? Because if you guys have watched my content in the past and you've watched all the rants videos that I do, all of the stuff that happens in this game pisses me off to a whole other extent, okay? But as a content creator, you have to accommodate for things. And don't get me wrong, it stresses me. It hurts my head a lot. I think about it all the time. But you do have to accommodate for it, okay? So let's talk about... I already... my train of thought, I was going to like talk about something and I totally forgot. Wow, it just completely escaped me. Oh, and the state of FIFA, okay? Do you guys think that I like that 99.9% of the community will never be able to afford these cards, right? Do you think that I like that most of the SBCs that I do, not everybody can get because, you know, you playing the game a lot doesn't allow you to actually do that? Because, guys, I've talked to you guys so many times about this in the past, right? The way that Division Rivals and Foot Champs is set up, the amount of coins that they give you, like, let's just say you're not a menu guy. And to be honest, guys, listen, you shouldn't have to be a menu person in this game to unlock this stuff, because these Call of Duty guys, when they want attachments for their guns, they just have to grind and play the game consistently in good game modes to be able to unlock this stuff in the game, which is what I have been preaching for like 8 years, okay? Literally been preaching for this, right? Which is cool what they do with the gameplay objectives and all that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about it from a coin value perspective. I can get top 200 in Foot Champs, Elite, whatever it is. I can get Division 1, Rank 1 in Rivals, and the amount of coins that I get that 1 week, if I'm not utilizing the market, which, like I said, you shouldn't have to, right? If I'm not utilizing the market, I literally can't get, as a normal person grinding the game like crazy, I can't get the majority of these cards, right? But again, the point of view as a content creator for myself is that I give you guys the review on the SBC, and if you can do it, I'll give you a solid amount of information to decide whether or not you want to do it. But trust me when I tell you guys that I absolutely hate, with a deep passion, the way that the game is formatted from a gameplay perspective and a gameplay content and menu content perspective. Because, guys, literally, man, if I didn't have this dude's account, right, there was literally 1 week, right, where I couldn't imagine getting all this content out. They literally released SBCs, right, that from a price value of was 2.5 million coins. I would be lucky to get 400, 300, 200K from grinding a full week of only competitive FIFA from Rivals and Foot Champs to be able to accumulate those amount of coins, and then I would be divided by 5 away from the content that I want to do. Guys, in an idealistic world, right, and this is something that I've talked about so much, right? In an idealistic world, I would love to grind the game and unlock pretty much every single player that EA releases, even if they're expensive, because I play the game enough to be able to afford it anyways. I play the game enough to be able to collect untradeable cards as duplicates, and then when the SBC comes out, I play the game enough where I can put them into the SBC, right? This is stuff that I've talked about so many times in the past. Like I tell you guys, man, when I create this SBC, trust me, I hate that not everyone can do them, right? But I'm doing it for content. I'm just putting the content out so that if you can afford it, then you do it. And if you can't, then hey, I'm going to try to give you as good of an experience as possible, gameplay highlights wise, right? That's the focus with both of those things that I have, okay? But trust me when I tell you guys, I don't like that EA has gotten to the point, right, where people wanting to try out moments Ronaldinho, moments Ronaldo, and all these guys, they have to spend an absolutely absurd amount of money, right, to be able to afford these players. But I really, really hate that this is only a main problem now when we used to rage and rant about this for every single year. It's only become a problem now because people are paying big bucks to get a moments card. I hate that, man. I really do. Because this has been a problem in the FIFA community, guys, okay? I don't know if you guys remember this, okay? But a year or two ago, or two ago, the Battlefront community doesn't take what we take, okay? The Battlefront community, when EA released a concept in that game where it's like, hey, you have to pay to use this individual character, or you have to put this many hours, which was just as absurd. Actually, it was still a little bit less, not even a little bit less. It was significantly lower than what the amount of time we have to put gameplay wise into this game to unlock these cards, to use them, right? And you know what the whole community did, bro? They all freaked out because it is completely unacceptable that the only way that you can use a character is to pay for it. Okay? It is completely unacceptable. And guess what? We have been dealing with this for years. This is not new in our community, okay? I have never had a Moments or a Prime Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Kaká. I've never had any of these cards. I had them 1 year, right? I had some of them 1 year, but even this year, I barely consistently play the game because you know how I feel about FIFA in general. But the year that they released like the Prime SBCs and stuff, okay, there was like a variable there for you to collect the cards at least, right? But they don't even have that nowadays. They release completely garbage icon swaps for you. We used to get like a baby Laurent Blanc. We don't even get that anymore for a solid CDM, right? We don't even get that anymore. Guys, I can go into so many streets, avenues, roads. I can go into so many pathways of stuff that I talked about before of why I don't like what they do, right? Because I understand both people's perspectives. It is such a crappy thing that such a large majority of the community will never be able to experience these cards to the full potential. I don't even know if EA is going to do something for like the last month or month and a half for you to be able to use these cards, at least as a loan, right? I don't know if they will. And even still, it's still the last freaking month or two of the game, right? And then there's the variable where it's like people that want to do this and God forbid have the money to do this feel the need to spend this type of money to use a Moments Ronaldinho, a Moments Ronaldo, a Moments Hullet. These cards are unattainable for 99.999999999 of the community, percent of the community. Trust me, I hate it, guys. And trust me, when I post this content, like I think like, oh my God, so I post like a Prime Icon Moments Ronaldinho review and I'm like, it's so, like, I'm posting this for fun so that people can have fun watching Ronaldinho play, but I'm not posting this because people will be able to get this card. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Trust me when I tell you that it bothers me. But this stuff, guys, of me paying an EA employee to get these cards, it's not me. These are not my accounts. And the guys that I got these accounts off of, I even tell them that I do not mess with this vibe. And to be honest with you, for the rest of the icon moments, even if you guys want me to delete those ones, I'm only going to get it if I buy it normally. Like if a card is 1.5 mil or 1.4 mil or whatever it is. But through this method, man, like it's chalked. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just weird. It's so weird to do that, you know? It doesn't even feel right to do. But like I said, my train of thought when it comes to doing the review is to try to get that review out for you guys in regards to having fun watching the gameplay as much as possible because it's awful and you guys know that I hate it, right? The gameplay segment of me using Ronaldinho and getting this authentic feel for it, right? It's the aim is not to make you guys jealous. Like I'm never gonna use these cards again too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I get the review out, it's dusted, you know? And then um And then obviously it's the review for the SBCs, and if you guys can afford it, I let you know, hey, you may want to do this SBC or you may not want to do this SBC. Like, in my opinion, with the way that the game is formatted, right now, the Armstrong card, for instance, is such a cool card. He's such a cool card. He could play in the game well, but he's obviously not the meta of this game. So there's going to be moments you're playing in Division 1 where you're like, well, not much I can do about this card, you know? I just wanted to give you guys my train of thought in regards to all the stuff that's happening. I don't like it. I'm open to you guys having a discussion down below in the comment section. I'm sorry if I missed anything out on. I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you guys that if someone loses the coin value of the stuff that I'm reviewing, I'll pay them that coin value that they lost, right? Because obviously I don't want people losing money on my sake. Like if you are experiencing the game and you buy the card because you want it, I'm down to review it. But if you're not doing that and you're doing it for my sake, I don't mess with that vibe. Like don't do it for my sake. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. There's not really. I'm trying to think of something else in regards to this. It was just the EA thing with the icon moments. It's so crazy that we've actually gotten to a point where because people can't afford these cards, and you guys are talking about moments. Can you afford the primes? Like, can you afford the prime Ronaldinho and stuff through gameplay? Not the menu. Like, listen, guys. I'm not saying that like, oh, but it's because you don't use the menu. Like, listen, if you use the menu, that's perfectly fine, and I respect it. But there needs to be another way, untradeable wise or whatever it is, for me to get these cards through gameplay. Like you literally can do in any other game, bro. If I put my FIFA 15 time into Call of Duty nowadays, oh my god, I'd be through the roof. I want to tell you guys this one thing before I leave, okay? You guys know that I chill with Nick all the time. I chill with our two homies, Adam and Cape, as well. I was literally in the Discord yesterday, and I was like, this is what I said after I did the Ronaldinho review, right? Because even the guy that sent me the message, he even said that he got it from a guy from EA. But you know when it's like the last message, and you don't really pay attention to the last message once you get like the cards? That's what happened. So I go up and I'm like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? So the one thing I'm going to tell you guys is that literally yesterday, I'm not even joking, even if I can go and collect the recording from this, right? I literally said, you know, I find it very strange, right? How often I'm seeing people have untradeable prime icon moments cards in their team. This is literally what I said. Because I saw R9 in different people's accounts. And I was like, what? How are we doing this? Like, there's no way you're getting this lucky. You know what I'm saying? I literally mentioned that, and I think because they know that I don't like pay attention to the community, they're just like, we're just not going to mention it to him because I don't like knowing the drama, and I don't like knowing. But stuff like this is obviously important for me to know to share with you guys, right? So, hey, this isn't like a video of me trying to weasel my way out. Like, you guys can think whatever you want to think, but I'm just letting you guys know my train of thought in regards to this whole situation. Okay, so hey. Thank you guys so much for the content support. Really appreciate it. You guys have been obviously a blessing to me on the YouTube stuff. If it's that big of a problem, I'll get rid of him. Not a big issue, all right? Peace out, my dudes. Love you guys.